Hi friends, this is my ninth video of investment analysis and portfolio management, and the topic we were discussing was on securities market. And in securities market today we will discuss about that should trading be regulated. So let us start. Many informed observers of the capital market have argued that there is a case for regulating the volume of trading in the capital markets to check excessive speculation. Notable among them are John Maynard Keynes, James Tobin, and Warren Buffett. John Maynard Keynes, perhaps the most influential economist of the 20th century, made a fine distinction between industry and finance. Industry refers to the activities involved in procuring, manufacturing, and marketing goods and services. Money flow associated with industry may be referred to as industrial circulation. Finance refers to the business of holding and exchanging titles to wealth. Money flows involved in such activities may be referred to as financial circulation. John Maynard Keynes believed that a fair balance must be maintained between industrial circulation and financial circulation. If there is excessive financial circulation on account of undue speculation, it may lead to distortion in the economy. Echoing a similar view, James Tobin, a Nobel laureate in economics, proposed some kind of tax on financial transactions in order to keep money flows within reasonable bounds. In a similar vein, Warren Buffett, perhaps the most successful investor of our times, suggested that each investor should be given a card containing a certain number of holes to be punched, and each time an investor trades a hole should be punched. The idea is to induce circumspection in trading and check speculative tendencies. While the views of John Maynard Keynes, James Tobin, and Warren Buffett seems to make sense, they have not been implemented. Why? Apparently, there are four reasons. First, it curtails a person's freedom to engage in a legitimate economic activity. Second, it may be administratively impractical. Third, and perhaps the most important, it may impair the efficiency of the process of the price discovery in financial markets. Many financial economists believe that the primary function of financial markets is to discover prices. To perform these functions, the market aggregates the information and judgment of millions of players who participate in the market through their trading activities. Fourth, a certain amount of speculation, and one does not know how much is essential for liquidity in financial markets. A liquid market induces investors to save and invest, which in turn is necessary for economic growth, which is turn is necessary for economic growth. Hence, speculation, even though it may appear unpalatable to many, it has been permitted. Perhaps it is a necessary evil. This point was grudgingly admitted by J.M. Keynes in the following words: "The spectacle of modern investment markets has sometimes moved me towards the conclusion that to make the purchase of investment permanent and indissoluble, like marriage, except by reason of that or other grave cause, might be a useful remedy for our contemporary evils. For this would for this would force the investor to direct his mind to the long-term prospects and to those only. But a little consideration of this expedient brings up against a dilemma that shows us how the liquidity of investment markets open facilitates. It shows us that the how the liquidity of investment markets often facilitates, though it sometimes impedes the cause of new investments. Leo Melamed, President of Emeritus, President and Chairman of Emeritus, that is Chicago Mercantile Exchange, offers a strong justification for speculation. He says that finally one cannot speak about efficiency of market without mentioning the role of the speculator. All modern analysis lead to conclusion that competitive speculation serves an all important role in improving price efficiency. Speculation enhances market liquidity by creating higher level of trading and a tighter bid ask spread. The more trading and smaller the spread, the more market prices will migrate towards their true values. The more investors are confident that the market prices reflect a high degree of accurate information, the more willing they are to commit capital with a smaller premium for uncertainty. Thus, where speculation is high, the cost of capital will be lower and the efficient allocation of capital among competing investments more likely. In other words, just as Adam Smith suggested a long time ago, by performing his speculative function, a speculator serves the overall economy. Now we will discuss about something about government securities market. The government securities, that is GSEX market, is the largest segment of the stock of the long-term debt market in India, accounting for nearly two-thirds of the issues in the primary market and more than four-fifths of the turnover in the secondary market. From 1990 onwards, the GSEX market in India has witnessed significant developments such as introduction of auction-based price determination, developments of RBI's yield curve for making to market the GSEX portfolios of the banks. Sorry, development of the RBI's yield curve for marking the market the GSEX portfolio of the banks. Introduction of the system of primary dealers. Introduction of DVP, that is delivery versus payment for settlement. Increase in the number of players in the GSEX market with the facility for non-competitive bidding in auctions. Establishment of guild-oriented mutual funds. Re-emergence of repos as an instrument for short-term liquidity management. Phenomenal growth in the volume of secondary market transactions in GSEX. Emergence of self-regulating bodies such as Primary Dealers Association of India, that is PDAI, and Fixed Income and Money Market Dealers Association, that is FIMMDA. Setting up of the screen-based trading system linked to the negotiated dealing system. Establishment of Clearing Corporation of India Limited, that is CCIL. Now we will discuss something about primary issue. The issues of GSEX is regulated by Reserve Bank of India under Public Debt Act, which is to be replaced by Government Securities Act. GSEX are issued through an auction mechanism. The Reserve Bank of India, that is RBI, which essentially serves as the merchant banker to the central and state governments, announces that the auctions of GSEX through a press notifications and invite bids from prospective investors like banks, insurance companies, mutual funds, and so on. The RBI opens the sealed bids at an appointed time and makes allotment on the basis of the cut-off price decided by it. Two systems of treasury auctions are widely used all over the world. French auction, that is on variable price auction. Dutch auction, that is uniform price auction. In a French auction, successful bidders pays the actual price, that is yield, they bid they bid for, whereas in a Dutch auction, successful bidders pays a uniform price, which is usually the cut-off price, that is the yield. Generally, the RBI follows the French auction. Occasionally, It adopts the Dutch auctions. Certain categories of prospective investors can submit non-competitive bids. Those who submit such bids receive allotment from a small portion reserved for them. At the, those who submit such bids receive allotment from a small portion reserved for them at the weighted average price of all successful bids. Now we will discuss about participants in the GSEX market. Banks are the largest holders of GSEX. About one third of the net demand and the time liabilities of the banks are invested in GSEX, mainly to meet statutory liquidity requirements and partly for investment purpose. Apart from banks, insurance companies and provident funds have substantial holdings of GSEX. Almost one-fifth of the outstanding GSEX are held by these institutions. Other investors in GSEX includes mutual funds, primary and satellite dealers, and trusts. Now we will discuss about SGL accounts. The RBI provides the facility of subsidiary general ledger, that is SGL account, to large banks and financial institutions so that they can hold their investments in GSEX and T-bills in the electronic book and receipt form. This institution can settle their trades in securities through DVP, that is delivery versus payment mechanism, which ensure a simultaneous transfer of funds and securities. Investors who do not have access to the SGL account system can open a constituent SGL account with entities authorized by the RBI for this purpose. Now we will discuss something about primary markets. Primary dealers. Primary dealers are introduced in 1995. Primary dealers are important intermediaries in the GSEX markets. They are appointed by the RBI. Presently, there are about 20 primary dealers. They serve as underwriters in the primary debt market and act as market makers in the secondary debt market and enable investors to access SGL account. Primary dealers have access to the call market and repo market for funds. Now we will discuss about secondary markets for GSEX. As soon as they are issued, GSEX are deemed to be listed and eligible for trading. The National Stock Exchange, that is NSE, has a wholesale debt market, that is WDM segment, which is a fully automated screen-based trading system meant primarily for banks, institutions, dealers, and corporates who, who do high value transactions in debt market or debt securities. Long-term instruments such as bonds and debt debentures, as well as short-term instruments such as T-bills and commercial papers, can be traded in the WDM segment of the NSE. Sorry. Historically, government securities were traded on the stock exchanges. Later, the trading should be shifted to the over-the-counter market, in which trades were done directly between the buyer and the seller, or more commonly through brokers. Indeed, broker intermediated trading was the norm for many years. However, broker intermediated trading suffers from certain weaknesses. It generally takes more time to conclude a deal. It lacks adequate transparency. It entails higher transaction costs because of larger bid or offer spreads and broker commission. NDS, and now we will discuss about NDS and electronic trading. Given the shortcomings of brokers intermediate trading, there is a worldwide trend towards electronic trading in India. In India, the first step towards the electronic trading in bonds was taken when RBI's negotiated dealing system, that is NDS, was introduced in February 2002. NDS was meant to be used for bidding in the primary market. In the primary auction of G-SECs conducted by RBI as well as for trading and reporting of secondary market transactions. I repeat, NDS was meant to be used for bidding in primary auctions of G-SECs conducted by RBI as well as for trading and reporting of secondary market transactions. However, in the initial years, due to some technical difficulties, NDS was used mainly for placing bids in the primary market. As far as the secondary market was concerned, the role of NDS was limited to being a reporting platform, while the trading continued to be a broker intermediated. RBI therefore decided to introduce a screen-based anonymous order matching system integrated with NDS. This system, referred to briefly as NDSOM, was it was operationalized from August 1, 2005. Initially, only banks and primary dealers could trade on NDSOM. Subsequently, it has been gradually expanded to cover other players like insurance companies and mutual funds. Presently, the trades done between banks and primary dealers are settled through the Clearing Corporation of India Limited. Other trades have to be settled separately. Thanks to its speed, transparency, and lower cost, as well as the facility of straight-through processing, that is STP, using the CCIL's clearing settlement system. NDSOM has been gaining popularity. As a result, broker intermediated telephone-based transactions are losing their market share. Delivery versus payments. Trades in the secondary market are settled through a system of delivery versus payments, that is DVP. This involves a more or less simultaneous transfer of securities by the seller to the buyer and the payment by the buyer to the seller. As far as trades between CCIL's members, banks and primary dealers are concerned, the settlement function is performed by the CCIL. CCIL settled trades accounts for almost about 95% of the total trades. Now we will see about trading volumes, trading volumes and market liquidity. In recent years, secondary market trading has been picked up. However, the bulk of the trading occurs in the small number of G-Secs and T-bills. In general, less than half a dozen or so out of more than 100 outstanding government securities account for nearly 80% of the turnover. Further, the primary dealers are the most active players in the secondary market. Now we will see about retail participation. Retail investors can buy G-Secs from a primary dealer. Individuals can now hold G-Secs in demat form just the way they hold shares in the demat form. If you want to buy G-Secs contract, if you buy, contact a primary dealer like PNB Guilds, convey your requirement in terms of amount and maturity period, and obtain quotes for various G-Secs that match your needs. Suppose you wish to buy G-Secs that matures in 2008. Some of the G-Secs maturing in 2008 are 11.40% GOI 2008, 12% for GOI 2008, and 12.25% for GOI 2008. G-Secs are identified by their coupon rates and year for maturity. If you inform the primary dealer about the particular G-Secs in which you are interested, the primary dealer will give you the rate. Once you and the primary dealer agrees on the rate, you have to fill up a simple form which gives your demat account and issues a check. After your check is realized, the primary dealer will issue instruction to transfer the G-Secs from his demat account to your demat account. For G-Secs, the settlement amount includes two parts. the principal amount and the interest for a broken period. The buyer of a G6 has to pay interest for the period of G6 was held by the seller. This is because interest on G6 is paid semi-annually by RBI to the holder of the G6 on the interest payment date. The G6 For G6, the interest calculation is based on 360 days for a year and 30 days for a month. Thus, when you buy G6, you have to pay the rate that has been agreed upon plus the interest accrued for the broken period. You have to follow a similar procedure for selling G6. Get the rate from the primary dealer. Once you and primary dealer agree on the rate, instruct your depository participants to transfer G6 from your Demat account to the Demat account of the primary dealer. After the G6 are credited to the Demat account of the primary dealer, you will receive payment for principal and broken period interest by check or demand draft. Bond market indices. Just as stock market indexes reflects the performance of the stock market, a bond, a bond market index measures the performance of the bond market. ISEC, JP Morgan, CRISIL, CCIL, and NSE are the major entities that provide bond price indices in India. ISEC bond index, that is IBEX, is perhaps the most popular bond market index in India. There are two versions of IBEX: Total Return Index. This tracks the total returns. It captures interest payments, that is accrued and actual, and capital gains or losses. Principal Return Index. This index reflects movement of the net prices in the market, that that is prices quoted in the market exclusive of accrued interest. A major problem in constructing a bond market index is that it is hard to get reliable up-to-date prices of many bonds as they trade infrequently. In, in practice, it may be necessary to estimate some prices using bond valuation models. These prices, called matrix prices, may be different from the true market prices. So guys, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Bye.